Hello. I was not going to make a video tonight because I'm just making fried pork chops. But then someone texted me at 5 o'clock and asked me what was for dinner. So here I am. And we're having fried pork chops and green beans and egg noodles. And I have the water going for the egg noodles and the green beans. And I'm gonna turn on my oil for the pork chops here while we're talking. It'll heat up. The difference with the pork chops that I am making is that I brine them in advance. We got this kind of gross looking sludgy thing in here. That is a couple tablespoons of salt and an onion, or like half an onion, sort of roughly chopped, a couple bay leaves, a couple star anise, some peppercorns, and some other seedy little things like I think in this one there's caraway seeds and dill seeds. Sometimes I use fennel. Sometimes I use juniper berries, you know, whatever. And you do this overnight. And what that does is it kind of plumps up the pork. The downside of that, you know, the positive is that it's already seasoned. You don't have to do anything to it. Salt, pepper, it's all in there. The downside is that the brined pork chops take a little bit longer to cook because there's more water in them. So we're gonna get started. Now, the other thing that I have is, sometimes I buy the pork chops that are already thin cut, and sometimes I cut them afterwards, you know, whatever you find, whatever you wanna do. It just so happened the ones that I got this time were thick. So I did cut them in half lengthwise, not very well. In one of these boxes is my knife sharpener. So that's a tragedy, but again, we're hoping to get rid of all that this weekend. And I have in one of these gratins just a whisked up egg, or two eggs, and some breadcrumbs. So you can do flour, these are regular breadcrumbs, you can use panko, it's all sort of personal preference. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the first pork chop in the egg, and then in the breadcrumbs. And I move the egg and the breadcrumbs right next to the pan so that I'm not dripping stuff across the thing. You can come in, India, it's fine. Hi, honey. And I'm just going to, you know, actually I made a mistake when I was cutting the pork chops, so I'm gonna throw in this little one as our frying test. India, don't get any, oh yeah, seaweed's fine. Don't get a big snack though, because I'm making dinner. It's gonna be ready in about 10 minutes. Yeah, so our oil's not hot enough yet. India wants to say hi. But I can get another pork chop in this stuff. And the other thing you'll want to get together is just a plate with paper towels in it so that you can put the cooked pork chops on it to absorb the oil. Right now, I'm just gonna put this guy in. It's close to ready. I'm gonna have to do this in batches anyway, because one of the things that it's always sort of a push-pull for me is whether I want to use a big enough pan to fit all the pork chops in at once and use a ton of oil, or if I want to use less oil and do the pork chops in batches. And quite honestly, the bigger pan doesn't fit in my dishwasher, and I just don't feel like dealing with it today. I mean, it's Wednesday. I'm already in my sweats. I did, when I told my daughter that I would be doing this after all, she said, well, you need to put on makeup to put your true face on camera, which is how I know she's been watching too much YouTube. Anyway, you're just seeing me au naturel with my pandemic eyebrows. So at this point, I have in this pan 3 pork chops. And that is, what I've done is, it's 3 thick ones that I've cut into 6 pieces. And, you know, I usually eat 2 of the thin ones and the kids each get 1. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one ready. And the one thing to remember with your brine, a lot of this stuff can't go down the disposal. So when you go to clean up and do your dishes, you're going to have to pour that through a strainer of some sort to get all the little bits out. But it's worth it because it really does make a difference in how it tastes. It's really flavorful this way. Now, because, as I said, it's Wednesday and everybody's a little tired, my brain is not really able to think right now about why it is that when you put salt on an onion, the water comes out of it, and when you put salt on a pork chop, the water goes into it. I'm sure there's a good reason. And it always has to do with the concentration gradient, but I can't think of what it is at the moment. Now, I'm running out of breadcrumbs here, so don't use your dirty hand to get the breadcrumbs. Get your clean hand. And that's something I always do when I'm frying. You got to keep one hand clean, because you never know what you're going to need to do. It's very tempting to touch things with both hands if you're used to doing things quickly. Now I'm going to see, I need to reach under and use my clean hand on my tongs. This is a cast iron skillet, so it doesn't matter if I use metal tongs. I have found, for whatever reason, that the silicone tongs don't grip very well. And there's nothing worse than dropping a pork chop in the oil and having the oil go over your stove and then worry you're going to catch things on fire. So I really cannot say enough, use the metal ones. I hate those silicone things. So here we are. It's only been a couple minutes, and I've already turned over the first batch. And it looks like my water is boiling for the noodles and for the green beans, so I might rinse my dirty hand off anyway. Actually, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this one out of the breadcrumbs. I'm going to put this one in the breadcrumbs. And I get that all ready. Wash my hands really quickly, and then I can just use my tongs from here out. And theoretically, I'll remain clean. These guys. As with everything else, it will heat up with time, and so you'll want to at some point adjust the level of the flame, because you don't want that thing jumping over the side and again starting a fire. Frying is quick and it's tasty, but it's also, you know, when you've got an open flame, you gotta be careful. Now, so this is, you know, round one is done. I'm gonna put this guy in the oil. I'm gonna take this guy out. So I've got 2 pork chops out and 4 in the pan, 2 fresh and 2 going. And I'm gonna put my green beans in the steamer and my egg noodles in the water. These are really good. You know, these thin ones are nice in soup. I didn't have the curly ones. I've been trying to be good about not keeping a bunch of stuff in my pantry. It's really hard. And you'll forgive me, I did not practice this one, so we're moving right along. So that's now the first round is done, and I just have 2 more. So, you know, here we are. It's been 9 minutes and 43 seconds, and dinner's going to be ready as soon as the green beans and the noodles are ready, which is about another 5 minutes. And then comes the difficult task of removing my children from the TV area. And that's it. And I guess I'll see you later this week, maybe sooner than I thought. Maybe I was thinking I might make pate tomorrow. It kind of depends on some things. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow or Friday. Bye.